88.1 XFM Tonga Music Station. Also another episode of Mic Time with Marty, sponsored by Mic Time with Marty, now available on Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. I have a recurring guest on my show. He was Magician of the Year. He has now just announced a new tour. Say hello to the one, the only Paul Cosentino.
Hello. Thank you for having me again. We
No
speak
worries.
again. It's been November. It was November last year, 2024. So what is it, nearly 6 months?
Yeah,
It's
so
gone
we
quick. Actually, that's quick.
we did my interview couple of I think it was like a week before my birthday,
Right. What was your birthday? When was that?
27th of November.
Oh, 20. So it was the end of November, 27th of November. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
about
you go.
there. So yeah. Well,
All right.
first off, how have you been?
I've been well. So what have we done? We finished we did the New Zealand tour, then we went to Singapore for New Year's, then we came back and we did January, February, March, finishing off Australia. And then since March until now, I'm working on this brand new show, Tricked. So it's been keeping us busy and writing new children's books and creating new, TV shows or TV pictures and yeah, there's always a lot happening. We have to do a lot because not every idea comes to fruition, not every pitch becomes a reality, not every product gets launched. So
Mhm.
we need, 10 products because only one or 10 projects going because only one gets up and running. So if you want two to get up and running, you need 20 projects. That's how I look at everything.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously this new tour track, it is a 2 year tour. This is the biggest tour you've done, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this will be, and we've been very precise with how we're doing it. We're going to do all the regional areas first in
Mhm.
Australia, then we'll do the national tour, then we'll go to Singapore, and then ideally it will come to Singapore and Asia, and then ideally we'll come back to New Zealand. So yeah, it's a 2 year process to tour all those countries. And you're thinking, well, why can't you just do it in one? I unfortunately, unlike a singer, can't just go to a different state and hire an amp or a guitar, although they'll probably bring their own guitars or hire mics. Everything that I do is bespoke. It's custom built for me. I have it fabricated by specialists in Italy, New Zealand, France, and LA, Vegas. Or I custom build it myself. My father, my brother are structural engineers. So it's not like I have doubles of everything. It's not like you can just go hire what I'm doing. Everything is from my own, imagination.
Yes.
So it's a little harder. So what that means is you have to ship everything. So you put it all in a, 40 foot or two 40 foot shipping containers. And to get it to Asia is, 45 to 55 days.
Hmm.
And then to get it back is another 45 to 55 days. So what's that? A month and a half, nearly 2 months. So you've lost 2 months either side. And so you imagine to coordinate a tour,
Hmm.
it takes time. And even around Australia, even when I did New Zealand last year, like we have to truck everything around. So it's yeah, you can't just rock up to the venue and that's it. Everything is very, very specialized. So it takes time. That's why it gets stretched over 2 years.
Yeah. Well, obviously we are going to talk about this new tour, but I also want to talk about how you first started. So you got tied up by your brothers and thrown into a swimming pool so you can escape. Again, how does it feel to be first starting out, doing your first special, to now literally traveling the world?
It's a really interesting question because I remember once seeing, and I hope this doesn't come off conceited. I remember once seeing there was this huge billboard in Australia on the Gold Coast with like my head and my name on it. And I remember my manager and I was staring up at it. It's massive. And he's going, wow, look at this. This is incredible. And I'm thinking, it is incredible. Like to be on a billboard and, it's pretty amazing. But it didn't have the same impact I thought it would have because, and it's not about not being grateful. I'm extremely grateful. That's why, we'll get back to that in a second. But I'm very grateful. But the problem is that it didn't happen like that. So if
Mhm.
I'd gone from obscurity to boom, there's a billboard, you'd be like, whoa, oh my God, my head's on a billboard, and be like crazy, right? But the problem is I've gone through, 2 decades of, you know, being having myself on a little business card, then a flyer, then a brochure, and then 10 television specials later, all around So this is a very slow, progressive thing. So when you finally see your head on this big billboard, it's just decades of work to get there. So not that I'm not impressed or blown away by where I've come from. It's this weird kind of like, yeah, but I get it because I've worked so hard, which sounds like you don't have any gratitude. But it is that's not true, but it's taking in the fact that you've said to yourself, I've worked this hard, I've done it. So to some degree, what I'm saying is there's an expectation, which you shouldn't have expectations, but there's an expectation because I've worked so hard and so long to be able to do this. I'm not as taken back by it, which to some degree is bad. But on another hand, it's good because I don't get carried away with the whole like, I don't get ahead of myself. I don't buy into it. I get my hands dirty, man. I'm the one building the props. I'm the one setting them up. I'm the one designing them. I'm the one rehearsing. Like I get my hands dirty. I'm the one sweeping the stage, man. Everyone goes
Mhm.
home. I sweep the stage and I'm the one who mops it. It doesn't sound very, very Hollywood, but that's what you got to do because out of necessity to keep things moving and keep things running, I believe you need to know every aspect of your business from the ground up, and whether that be the lighting, the sound, the sweeping of the stage, whatever it would be. And I won't make anybody else do something that I wouldn't do myself. In fact, the people who work for me don't, they actually get it better than me, if I'm being really frank. It's the truth. Because these days people are very, very precious. And when I
Mhm.
was starting out and growing up, man, you were just thankful to be there.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, for this new tour, you did auditions for dancers for assistants. How many people auditioned for Tricked?
We had 101 people apply. That's just locally. And then we narrowed it down. I know we narrowed it down to 50 people. Then we narrowed it down to 24, then 12, then six, then three.
Wow. So it
It's like
went from
3%, right?
101. It went from
Yeah.
101 to three people.
Yeah. Yep. And sometimes you still don't get it right. Like, like the girls we've got like they are so good. They're so talented and wonderful. But sometimes there's so many factors that come into play when you're looking for assistance. There's obviously their dance ability, um, their presence on stage. And so if anyone is a performer of any type listening to this is an interesting take because obviously I've always been on, I can be on like both sides. I audition for things, I pitch for things. When I did a Jackie Chan film, I had to audition. Like, so there's lots of things that go into. I know both sides of it. And then when I'm creating my own show, my own TV stuff, I'm the one who's auditioning people. So I know what it's like and I feel what it's like. So I've had the luxury, I guess, of being on both sides. But it's interesting with us because there's a lot of factors that come into play. So there's their dance ability and their presence. There's their ability to hold the stage on their own. Then there's this flexibility. There's this kind of like some of them might be scared of heights. Some of them might be claustrophobic. Some of them might be, um, I don't know, not good with there's just so many things like twitch fiber muscles, like good at speed, so there's so much that just comes into play. And then there's this whole personality aspect that's got to work because there's got to be some kind of chemistry. I mean, you hear about this in films all the time. Is there a chemistry between myself and the performers? Um, and then there's a personality trait like when we're traveling because we travel so much together. So there's a lot of factors. So once you get to a certain point, you've watched them perform and you see how good they are. When you start getting down to the 24 or 12, you start looking at other things like personality. Are we
Mhm.
clicking? Are we vibing? And although most performers or dancers probably go, whatever, I'm just really based on my ability. It's a lot more than that, for at least me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's a cultural thing, like a culture thing as well. They've got to fit into
yeah,
my culture. Yeah,
exactly. Like you can't do a tour or anything like that and literally just sit there and do nothing. Like you got to have conversations. You got to build a connection to be able to make sure that one, there's also trust there because what you do also is quite dangerous and
very
things
good.
can
Yeah,
go
that's a good
wrong.
point.
Yeah, and things can go wrong as we have seen. But
Mm,
also, like you've got to have the connection, but also you've got to make sure you have fun.
hmm
But
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So, last time we spoke, we did quick fire questions. I've got some more quick fire questions, and we're going to see how well you can do for this one.
Okay, here we go.
All right. How do you eat your pies?
You mean like a meat pie?
Yeah.
Um, don't have them often, but I eat them with tomato sauce, and it's usually because it's from a servo out of a paper bag.
Okay. Okay. So you don't do, so what I do, weirdly, is I do the tomato sauce, but I take off the top, eat the insides with the
Yes.
fork,
Yeah, and you
and
put
then
it in. Yeah.
eat the rest of it. It's weird to some people, but
No, I've heard about that before. No, see, I don't get that. I don't have it that often. So if I do, it's in a rush. It's like I've gone to the servo, I filled up the car with petrol, and I'm kind of eating on the road. It'd be that
Mhm.
type of thing for me.
Yeah. Okay. What's the difference between a lettuce and a cabbage?
Oh, they taste different, don't they? I don't actually. This is an interesting one. They definitely taste different. I have a lot of lettuce. We have a lot of salads,
Uh-huh.
cabbage. Usually it's boiled, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually you have it boiled. So what is the difference? I don't know. The taste.
All right. Do you believe in the supernatural?
Ooh, this is an interesting one because as a magician, the famous Harry Houdini spent second half of his life debunking fraudulent mediums. He got really
Hmm.
frustrated with the fact that when his mother, his sweet mother, died, he was obsessed with his mother, impressing his mother, looking after his mother. When his father passed away, he became the man of the house.
Hmm.
Um, he said he had two loves in his life, his wife, Bess Houdini, and his mother. Um, when she passed away, he wanted to make contact with her, and he couldn't. And that
Hmm.
really frustrated him. That drove him insane. And so
Yes.
he would go see these clairvoyants, he'd go see these mediums, and they would falsify the what the contact. And because he was a magician, he knew all their secrets. Like little bells would ring, and they would say the presence of his mother was in the room, or a tambourine would shake. This is in the late 1800s. And then he would be like, then he would debunk him. And so it drove him mad. He became like a ghostbuster. He went insane, but
Hmm.
out of the fact that he wanted to make contact. Okay, so as a magician, the reason why I tell you that story is magicians are very skeptical of mediums and clairvoyants and people who can supposedly talk to the dead because we kind of know about their cold reading, about tarot card reading. We know all those tricks.
Hmm.
However, for me, there's aspects of it. There's some things that I've experienced that are just that you just can't explain. And there is a part of me that very much enjoy like I like the mystery. I like the fact that we don't understand how everything works or need to know how everything works in this digital age where everything is like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll just Google it. That's that, that's this. I'm okay with that. I like the mystery. That's why I think my work is so well received in Asia. There's a lot more mystery there. There's a lot more acceptance of the unknown.
Hmm.
And it's a lot more spiritual. Um, so the answer to your question is a yes and a no.
Okay.
It's a
Fair
yes
enough.
and a no. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of the same as well. Like there are things that I believe in, then there's things and I'm just like, really? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But, you know. All right.
Let
So,
me do a little disclaimer there too. Sorry, let me do a disclaimer. And what I do, I never claim to have supernatural abilities or powers. If I predict the future or read somebody's mind, it's not because I have been given some special gift. It's because I'm using my abilities of psychology and misdirection, illusion, magic, and creating the illusion of reading somebody's mind. Because if I could really do that, I would have won the lottery already.
wouldn't we all love that?
Yeah, exactly.
You go. Well, I mean, speaking of that, what would you do if you won the lottery?
Oh, what would I do? Pay off my house, I would create more magic. I'd create more shows. I'd be under less time restraints and time restrictions because what happens is you're given certain budgets when you're making a TV show. You're given certain budgets when you're making a live show. So there's only so much experimentation, so much workshopping you can do before you have to literally put it on stage. So I mean, because my first love is theater and creating theater, I would have to be pouring it into that and creating a show that has no limitations or restrictions from a financial perspective and probably from a time perspective, because time costs you money. Um, and then there's people who need it, there's people who need more money, family members that could do with a million or $2 million to just stop them from having to read about everyday things. So, I mean, geez, I mean, that would be a wonderful thing. As I said, if I could predict the future, I would have done it already.
Exactly. All right. So last time we spoke, you did a trick. Do you have another one up your sleeve?
I don't. I didn't prepare. I'm sitting at
Oh,
my table, but I didn't prepare. What did I do for you last time?
you did the trick where I named a card and it was a different color, and then all the cards were blank.
Ah, yes, yes. We're putting that in my new show because you know what we were doing back then? We were experimenting. Yeah, we were experimenting and seeing how these things kind of pan out and how they look. No, I don't. I have nothing here. I didn't prepare. I've literally come into the office, sat down, and had this chat with you. So I apologize about that.
No worries. Well, so obviously doing the Get the Fine Escapes, doing the cards, doing the coins, also learning hypnosis. How do you
Mm,
juggle everything? Because obviously you have different ages, different demographics at shows that are going
mm.
to be like, oh, this is boring. Wait, this is interesting. Or, oh, I want to learn that. So, with this new tour, do you have a fine selection of different types of magic and illusion?
Yes, I have a little bit of a formula. It doesn't mean we have to stick to it 100%. I have a structure formula for the show.
Hmm.
And I have a criteria that I like to meet because it'd be very easy to write a show just for kids, if from my perspective. Not saying writing a kid show is easy, but it'd be easy
Hmm.
just to do that genre, and it'd be really easy to just do an adult show where it could be a bit crude and rude and a bit risque. That would be easy, but I have to walk this very fine line where I do a little bit of this to appeal to the adults and a little bit of this to appeal to the kids, and then down the middle. So you're constantly questioning, did I push that too much? Did I not push that enough? So you walk, it's this seahorse kind of thing going on, this equilibrium you need to meet. But I make sure in the show there are the four main pillars. There's the close-up sleight of hand magic, the street kind of magic projected onto the video screens. There's the grand illusion, so people appearing, disappearing, levitating, teleporting, really specky stuff, kind of stuff you see in a Marvel film. There's the crazy death-defying escapes where I'm putting myself in these crazy positions. And then there's the mix of the humor and the comedy and all the other aspects like the dancing that come into play. So they're the four things. Then you mix it all with the lighting, the AV design, all that has to be together. So they're my foundation. So now I've gone, oh, okay, I've got to have close-up magic, stage illusions, escapes, and some comedy in it, some humor. So they're the things I kind of work out. Then I say to myself, okay, I'd love to bring a lady up on stage. I'd love to bring a man up on stage. 50% of my show uses audience interaction. I'd like to bring a child. Let's have a little boy come up on stage. Let's have a little girl come up on stage. You see, I start to like try to try to appeal to as many different people as possible. And then I say, okay, we'll have a card trick. We'll have some kind of mentalism, mind reading effect. Um, uh, we'll have something that's a bit more interactive in terms of like maybe involving the whole audience. So once I do all this, and I have to some degree, I kind of create limitations on purpose so that my creativity, otherwise I just like it's scattered. I'm like, I could do, so I try and work within these parameters because also I know that formula works. And then what's interesting and what's challenging is creating something new, or at least that it feels fresh or a different approach or viewing it from a different way. So, for example, in this new show, for years I've done a piece called Metamorphosis. It's where I would get tied up in a sack, placed in a trunk. My assistant would stand on the trunk, a cloth would be lifted, it would be dropped. I'll now be on top of the trunk, unlock everything, pull off all the chains. Now she's inside the sack or the bag, and she's all tied up and she's really so okay, great. So that's one of my favorite pieces. I've been doing it since I was a child. How can we make it better? How can we make it more magical? Well, we've now got a perspex front. The sack is no longer a canvas bag. It's a clear plastic bag. So the whole thing is transparent. It's done much quicker. Now, that sounds from an audience perspective, okay, cool. So I get to see it the whole time. They get to see me locked up inside, so they get to see my assistant locked up inside the plastic bag, and they see her the whole time until the cloth drops and then we change. Um, but to get to that point, that's a lot of work because you're changing all the the kind of mechanics, and you're changing the method of how you actually accomplish it because you everything's see-through.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of reworking. So that's an example of taking something that's a classic and kind of reworking it and trying to make it better, and being inspired by that. And then there's other things in the show that are completely new and brand new that have just come from my brain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, with this day and age, with like social media being the forefront of people's news, and also the what people would call the uprising of AI.
Mm.
Obviously, being a magician, you have to again be quick on your feet. You have to do all these new things to make things interesting. Do you ever think that AI could be a magician?
Ooh. Geez, it's the unknown, isn't it? I think AI could definitely help us.
Mhm,
There's a lot of technology incorporated into a magic show that's behind the scenes that the audience would never be aware of. But the thing about magic is a lot of it still comes down to the fundamentals of sleight of hand,
mhm,
dexterity.
mhm,
So until someone or something can do that, I don't know that we're going to loot. Like, I mean, magic has stood the test of time. I mean, they say, even, I mean, it dates back. I mean, the old traditional cups and balls, three cups and a little ball, dates back to the Egyptian pharaohs. It was
mhm,
performed in ancient Greece and Rome, and today it's still performed on the streets of New York, London, and Paris. We're talking about placing a little ball under a cup and mixing it around. And the audience's job is to work out which cup contains the ball. Okay, so we go back to the ancient Egyptians, and yet it's stood the test of time to today. And you think about all the technology we've gone through in terms of the Industrial Revolution, then radio, television, internet, AI, and yet I still am able to do the cup and ball routine in my show today. So I don't know. Like I think it's going to continue for centuries. I really, really do.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have been doing magic for quite a long time, from doing Australia's Got Talent to being on America's Got Talent, the champions, to doing I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. You have done a lot in your illustrious career. Do you ever think that, I mean, would there be something that can top it all off?
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, there's always more you can do. I would love to be a judge on a show at one stage and kind of give back a little bit. I feel like I've got so much knowledge in the performing arts. And the reason why I say that is I wasn't like plucked from obscurity and then given all this opportunity. I'm a guy who had a kid who had a passion, followed their craft into a niche industry, entertainment, didn't even niche, which is magic. I have a very unique skill set. Had to learn how to light my show, design my show, choreograph my show, block my show, script my show. Then went into TV, had to do all that again. Like, I don't know too many artists that have that many, learned how to do pyrotechnics, learned how to hypnotize people, learned how to do rigging. And this isn't because I'm like some like obsessive control freak. This is because it was out of necessity because no one would help me. Like, no managers, no agents, no producers, no one. So I'd be like, oh, I want pyrotechnics in my show. I didn't know anything about it, so I did a pyrotechnics course, learned pyrotechnics, got my license in every state in Australia. Necessity. Lighting. Whoa, what do we do? I mean, I didn't know anything about staging or lighting, so I had to learn, I had to teach myself, I had to go to school and learn all the lighting. A lot of performers, like for example, my wife is a tremendous performer in musical theater. She never had to learn anything about lighting because she was traditionally trained in musical theater and dance from 3 years old. Very talented, went into musical theater, and then when they're in the cast, it's such a big show, whether it be Aladdin or Chicago or whatever it may be. It's such a big show that they've got all these specialists for that. So
Yeah.
you just do what you do, and you do it to the best of your ability, whether you're a lead or whether you're in an ensemble or whatever it may be. And they have all these different creatives. But in my world, I'm the lead, I'm the creative, I'm the ensemble, I'm the lighting designer. Now, do I have people to come in now and help me? Yes, I have a lighting designer, I have AV designers, but I still have to learn all that. So it's just it puts me in a very interesting position. So I know I always give long-winded answers. So I think that puts me in a unique position to watch other people and give. I would love to give back. I've just got so much knowledge about not just, hey, this is how you stand on stage and project and perform, but this is what you should do here. This is what you should do there. And anyone who's been in the entertainment industry for some time should have that kind of ability. So I'd love to do that. Um, I'd love to perform more in Europe. I haven't done a lot in Europe at the moment. I've done a little bit. I've performed extensively throughout Asia, Southeast Asia. So going into Europe, maybe into the Americas would be awesome.
Mhm.
And then always like more TV, locally, internationally. Um, so yeah, but mainly I've stayed in, as you know, Australia, New Zealand, and all through Asia. So it'd be nice to hit up, go through Europe. That would be cool. There's always more to do. If that's the question, it never ends.
Yeah, there's always more to do. So last time we spoke, I mentioned that I am a comedian and also I do dabble in magic as well. I'm wanting to do
Yes.
a show, kind of like a comedy special type of thing. What advice would you give me for someone that's never done this before?
So first, you need to work out um well, there's two ways to go about it. You might want to decide what kind of jokes you want to tell, or you might want to decide what kind of magic you want to do, or you might be able to do them together. I want to do this trick, this illusion, and kind of link it with this joke. You need to work out how long your set's going to be. Is it 20 minutes? Is it an hour? Is it how long is your set going to be? So you work out your set, you work out what kind of jokes you might want to tell, or what kind of material you'd like to do. And then you have to practice it and then film yourself. And then you have to go out there and you have to do it. Like you have to do it in the comedy clubs until you can really start to kind of put bums in seats and sell tickets. You kind of want to iron out all the kinks in it. That would be my advice. And take as many opportunities as possible to do that act. Or maybe if it's a stand-up comedy show, I don't know how long your sets are, usually 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You might want to just do one aspect of it. And then go, okay, that one, and do that for a while, and that one's good. Then park that, then do the next one. So that way you can build up to, if you want to do a show, you've got to do an hour. Like if you're doing a show and you want to sell tickets, you got to do 1 hour minimum. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
doing a 2 hour show. So you want to build up that material bit by bit and really work it. And then you'll get to the problem of after you've built up an hour and you've done that show extensively, you have to create another whole hour. And you're like, oh my God, it is so much work. It is so much work. So that would be my advice. And just work out what you in your comedy, what do you want to say? Like if you've watched people like Dave Chappelle, like he's a bit political. He kind of like gives you the other side of the coin to some degree. If you watch comedians like Jerry Seinfeld, obviously, as you know, very well known for observational humor. Um, just he's every day, like he's got a coffee cup and he's like, why is the coffee cup so big? Why are we drinking so much coffee? Like whatever it may be. So you just got to decide what your angle is. Or maybe it's from your experiences of interviewing people, like all the things, all the issues you've had with all the people you've interviewed, and how that could be humorous, and then maybe how you can tie a trick into that. Um, so you just got to find what you're interested in and what works for you. Have you started already?
Yeah, so the show's called Twisted Personalities. So
Yes.
I do the comedy, I do the voice acting. I call it I have voices in my head and they somehow understand.
Nice.
I've got the magic. I'm very quick on my feet. So like
Yeah.
especially most comedians hate it when they have hecklers, people that think that they
Yeah.
can do their job as better as them. So when someone will say something, I'm very quick with it.
Right. Nice. That's a
So
good skill to have.
yeah, so it's kind of like going from doing my first show in an opera house in Hawke's Bay, my hometown, to
Mm,
now doing these interviews, trying to find my feet in the comedy world
yeah.
and trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah. And so do you have so you're quick on your feet. Do you have the material? Do you know what you want to say?
Yeah, I've got everything
Oh,
written
good.
down. I know I'm going to be doing the human blockhead that I did for you last time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
do that. I do that all the time at shows. So yeah, it's
How's
basically
that
just
go? Did the audience enjoy it?
yeah. I mean, I always make sure that I get a woman that's very, very prim and
Yeah.
proper. Very just like
Yeah.
yes, like
Perfect.
and
Yes.
I did it one time and the lady actually almost like pushed it in. I'm just like, oh, let's push it in. We don't know each other that well. And then she pulls it out, and I'm like, oh, thank God. I went around the back, blew my nose, and out came a little bit of blood. But
Yeah.
I mean, she was shaking. I didn't want to like, force her to do it. I said we can change it. We can do someone else. She's like, no, no, no. I want to do this. I want to prove to people that I'm not scared. She was shaking, pushed it in a bit, and I'm like, okay, cool, that hurts, but I still had to sell it. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
afterwards, I went down, and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I realized I hurt you. And I'm like, you're fine. It's okay. It was great. It was a great piece of footage. I got it. It's on my social. She's going to be famous.
yeah. Nice. Nice, nice, good, good, good. Okay, good on you. No, that's good. That would be, yeah. I mean, look, you know what you're doing. You know how to interview people. Which is probably a really good skill. The fact that you're interviewing people means you're probably very, very good at choosing people out of the audience and then managing them. That's a
Hmm.
really good skill to have, which a lot of comedians don't do. They don't bring people up, right? So they don't know how to manage people.
Hmm.
I have comedian friends say to me, I can't believe 50% of your show is reliant on the audience. Because as you said just before, they don't want hecklers. They don't want anyone involved. They want to just do their shtick, tell their joke, have the laugh, return, and then play on that. Whereas what we do, you bring people up, man. It is the unknown. Like that's a whole nother skill set.
Exactly. All right. Well,
Yeah, it's interesting.
Cosentino, again, congratulations on everything. What can we expect for this new tour?
Oh, wow, wow, wow. The last tour, Decennium, was my best of over 10 years, my favorite material. So I've started again. New cast, new crew, new lighting designers, new AV content. Everything is new. It all had to be filled new, fresh, new costumes. Again, we talked about the four pillars, the close-up magic, all new close-up magic on the screens, all new grand illusions, all new crazy escapes, all new comedy all packaged together, with new soundtrack, new everything, and it's exciting. If hopefully we get to New Zealand, ideally we will, and if you're in Australia, you can check it out. It will be touring for the next 2 years, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I've learned a lot over the last, decade, 2 decades, and so the material I think is more baffling, more tricky, and more spectacular.
Hmm. All right. Well, sadly, Zoom has given me a 10-minute timer for this
Yeah,
interview to
yeah, yeah.
finish. Ah, but again, thank you so much for taking your time. If you ever come, well, when you do come to New Zealand, I'm gonna
Yes,
have
when I
to
come
get a
back.
message and we're gonna have to meet in person. It's gonna have to happen.
Yes, 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 I agree. I agree. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I hope your audience enjoyed this, and hopefully we'll meet next time in person. And if not, we'll do it again over Zoom. I really appreciate your time and appreciate you chatting to me.
No worries. Again, you have been someone that I've looked up to in the magic world. So
Um,
again, thank you. I
thank
appreciate it.
you.
I still remember when I was like, I think I was like 12, maybe 14, watching your TV specials and just seeing it is completely mind blowing. And now being able to sit here and talk to you, I chills.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries. All right. Well, good luck with everything, and
Will do.
hopefully, we can meet up soon.
We are. I'm off to rehearsals now.
All right. Have fun. See you
Ciao.
later.
Thank you so much.
No worries.